One of the most important things that I have been wanting to learn while learning to homestead is canning. And today we are canning peaches. While in Georgia, I feel like it is most appropriate to get some peaches to take home with us and to have them for the rest of the year. So I started off by making the syrup that we are going to can our peaches in. And this is a pretty light syrup. We don't really necessarily need to have a sugar syrup to can. The peaches are actually acidic enough to just be canned in water. But I thought the honey would add a nice little touch of flavor to it, and it also helps prevent some discoloration. The higher sugar amount that you have, the less that they will likely discolor over time, but it'll all still be totally fine to eat. It's just kind of a matter of preference. And so I let this get going and kind of mix together, and then I got my Presto canner started. So I love this thing. It makes it so easy to water bath can, and I just set it at 20 minutes. I put my jars in there, and you fill them a little bit with water, and that way they can start to get very hot, and there won't be some sort of pressure or temperature change when you put it into the canner. And I like that it's pretty foolproof. If you saw there, I had my pressure gauge still on, and it aired out and said, hey, take that off. So it's really nice. It kind of like is super foolproof. And okay, so now I am just adding some little X's to the bottom of my peaches and dumping them into some boiling water for no more than 90 seconds to help peel the peaches. And then I ran them over some cold water and started to peel them. Now, I will say next time I will end up probably just peeling them with a knife and cutting them from there. And that's what I did about halfway through. I found that this method just the actually peeled very well, but when I wanted to cut it, I just felt like it made it more difficult. And I didn't like that it kind of cooked the peach a little bit. So I think it's a matter of personal preference, and I think it also depends on how ripe your peaches are, which way works better. But for next time, I think I will just peel it. And I made sure to save all of the scraps so that I could make some syrup later on. And I'll link a video to my shorts and also a PDF recipe in the description below on how to make a syrup for using your peach scraps, so all of your skins, your pits, so make sure that nothing goes to waste, which is really great. And so I cut them into slices here, but I eventually kind of cut them more into fourths just because I ended up getting bigger peach slices that way. I found that the pits and center area in these kinds of peaches were just bigger than I anticipated. So I think it's definitely important to look at what kind of peaches you're using and research what is the best kind of peach to can. And so I went and filled them all up to the very top. It's going to shrink a little bit when you can it. I didn't really realize that. And so you want to just fill it up as much as you can, and then you're going to fill up with liquid to about an inch headroom. And then you're going to put it into your canner for 20 minutes. That is what is recommended by the USDA, at least from what I have found. But I will link a ball canning book in the description below, just so that you can make sure that you have the appropriate recommendations, because they do change. And I am somewhere in the middle of following all the rules and a little bit of a rebel canner, but we always have to choose on what comfort is best for you. And then I'm just putting it just fingertip tight here, fingertip tight. And then I'm going to put it into the canner. And once it is done, I'm going to go ahead and take it out and put it on a dish towel so that there's no shock of difference of temperature. Again, it's really something that you want to make sure that you're paying attention to when you're canning. And this is how the peaches turned out. Make sure you subscribe to follow along for more homesteading videos and recipes.